Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals. Welcome to another Heart of the Swarm beta cast, and ladies and gentlemen, I have got an absolutely stunning long macro game for you. It is a ZvT, and in the bottom right, as the purple Terran player, we do have for team complexity, QXC. And his opponent up in the top right is the pink Zerg player. The Scottish Zerg, it is JonnyREcco. So, these two are spawning on Whirlwind, and it's a weird version of Whirlwind. I'm not quite sure what was up with it, because I don't actually know where it's from, so it's just peculiar, because like there was an error already. There's I don't think there's any differences on the map. There's the supply depots there, and it's just a bit all confusing, you know. It's one of those things where you're like, I'm not quite sure what's going on. But anyway, that's beside the point. The map is working, the game is playing, obviously they played on it, it's a decent map, so yeah. Close spawn positions, vertical spawn positions, so it's still a huge map. It's really geared towards a macro game anyway. You can spawn in any of the positions. That's why the overlords are going off and about, and the drone's going to go and check the cross spawn positions. But yeah, in terms of strategy, Rico should be going for a 15 hatch 16 pool. Generally what you do against Terran. QXC, well, on the one hand, he might go for something like a 1-Rax command center. I doubt he's going to go for an early gas, because the benefit you get from getting that out would be negated by the fact you don't quite know where your opponent's going. Could be an early command center as well, and it's looking to be a CC first, just by the amount of minerals banked up already. There's no reason not to have that. The drone, though, is actually going to come and scout the bottom position, so sees where QXC is going to see that there's no barracks, and that's going to have one of two effects. With that SCV being pulled there, it should actually be slightly less concerning. The one thing you would be concerned about seeing no barracks down is that it was somewhere else, but to be honest, on a 4-player map, it's exceptionally unlikely, and Rico will see that yes, there is the command center down anyway, and you'd have to go for something like a proxy Rax on a 4-player map would be pretty bold. It would be also pretty crazy, because you had like 1 in 3 chance of going to the right place, so why you sometimes don't see that. But yep, anyway, Rico getting down his hatchery, getting down his spawning pool, probably as soon as he hits 200 minerals. Now he's up to 16 supply, so that, oh no, he's not, he's going for a really quick third. I didn't even spot that. That was newbie of me. A super quick third, my goodness. That was hatch. Let's try and work out the timing. So that went down about a minute and 10 seconds, so 240, and that was about 3 minutes. That is quick. Really quick, and QXC is unlikely to actually go and scout though. He's going to come up and see there's no... no, he will see the spawning pool now, so he's going to just think everything's A-OK, and that might throw him off a little bit, especially if he doesn't come back and check around, and if he doesn't come over here to see the third base. But it means Rico is still a base up on his opponent, even after going for a command center first. We've got the gas following up this barracks. There is a supply block here though for QXC, which is quite unfortunate for him, to say the very least. But up comes the SCV, going to check the third base position. Is he going to go up there? Is he going to go up there? Yes, it does. So knows the third hatchery is down. That is good news for QXC, because now he's got 2 choices. He knows that his opponent is going to be out macro him, well, not macroing, out economying. That's not even a word. It should be a word, but it's not a word, and that is frustrating, because I just said it, and thousands of people are going to listen to me say that. So, anyway, now I've embarrassed myself on the internet, which is not a hard thing to do. Basically the point I'm making is that essentially QXC had a choice of going for this third command center early on to try and keep up with the economy, or to go for a 2-base timing push, and he's chosen that third CC. He's going to be going all out. We are probably going to have to buckle down. Like, to be honest, just keep the video on loud, go and get yourself a drink of something, because this is definitely going to turn out to be a long game, and I promise that while you're getting a drink in the next few minutes, that if something exciting or groundbreaking happens, I will make a lot of noise so you can hear from the kitchen. But yes, we are back to what QXC is doing, which is just getting up the factory, getting up the reactor. Are you really surprised by that? You shouldn't be. It's going to be Hellions. Could be a Widow Mine or 2. I've seen some effective use of those to contain a Zerg player, especially careless Speedlings. Widow Mines knock out a group of Speedlings if they all clump up together, and it's very funny and satisfying for every Terran player there is in the world. But, of course, for Zerg players, it's quite annoying. Widow Mines are generally quite effective though. They're good for zoning your opponent before siege tanks, and you just have to be more careful then, and it stops the Zerg player running around like it's Christmas morning and they're a 5-year-old. But yeah, enough about that. Double engineering bay coming down, so we're not going to be seeing mech. That's straight away a surprise for some people, because mech is arguably the strongest composition right now against Zerg. It's strong in Winds of Liberty anyway, and then they were like, do you know what? We should make these things called Hellbats. that'll only make things better for Mech. And indeed it did, and they can get healed by medevacs and all those sort of good shenanigans. But that means that not seeing Mech now and seeing double upgrades come down always makes me scratch my head and be like, why aren't you going Mech? It's really good. But alas, QXE, he has got something in store. Marine Mortar Medevac style play, most likely. Just getting these Hellions out now, 4 on their way up. Coming to the third base, knowing there won't be much there. REcco, he is trying to get up 10 speedlings, or 10 Zerglings. Speed is about a quarter done, but we see the drones are having to get pulled. The Queen is trying to do this, and this is really good splitting. Johnny really splitting nicely there, losing hardly any drones at all. So that was quality play, and now the Zerglings are out. Well, guess what, Hellions? You can try and have a go if you think you're hard enough, but well, let's face it, creep spread's looking good. Now 7 roaches on the way. REcco potentially going to go for a little bit of aggression. Maybe going to try and punish this, which I don't believe he's seen. No, he can see just with that Overlord. It's really deceiving when you're in this angle, but it seems like that Overlord's further away than it actually is. But now REcco knows that with that out, that really the Hellions are all that are on the field, and 4 Marines. That is it. 2 Widow Mines are in production, so that's going to give a bit of added defense. 6 Hellions coming up towards the third base, so there's only the 2 Queens there. And what is going to happen? Well, 1 Hellion goes down. Quite a few drones are probably going to die here as well. REcco not pulling them yet, just trying to get the speedlings in there. But unfortunately, all the speedlings clump up the roaches, though. They are having none of this. They're like, you may try speedlings, but you're not killing me. So, REcco, he's looking fairly fine now. He's got up, I believe, 3 gas, unless he's got any here. No, 3 gas, that's cool. So he's going into mid-game perfectly happily, getting the 1-1 melee upgrades out. So, probably going to be going for Ling Bling style play. That's fine. Meanwhile, Widow Mines scuttling. And Widow Mines do scuttle. That is my official definition of how they move. They just remind me of a scuttling little crab or something. But anyway, that Overlord coming in saying, "Way, you've got a lot of barracks right there. You are not meching, that's for sure." Sees the double engineering bay as well. That is super important for REcco, because seeing that, you know that it's an upgrade play. He's already got his double upgrades coming down, that's fine. Got the Baning Nest coming down as well, so that's good. It's just starting about a third done. Hatchery coming down for the macro hatch, because a 4th base, the only real viable 4th base is this one, which is still just starting to spread out a lot. You become really vulnerable to drop style play, but we do see REcco does have good Overlord spread actually, so he's pretty much aware of any medevacs that could be coming in, and with Marine Mortar medevac style play, which I'm expecting considering there's a lot of Marines and Marauders, that really you've got to be prepared for drops, because you have to do that if you're going for that style of play. Mech, it's not something you're concerned about, but apart from Hellbats of course, but still something that REcco is appropriately dealing with. He's got his lair up now. Lair, what he can get from that is really, I'm waiting to see whether he goes for Aspire, because Muta play can be pretty strong, but against MMM, it's not going to be that strong, because the Marines obviously are going to be very good to deal with it, and obviously with the engineering base as well, you can chuck down those missile turrets. But the 4th base on its way out, you have Centra Fugal Hooks as well as the Spire, so I was correct in thinking that it'll be Mutas, and that's just going to allow REcco to really take map control. He's going to have a very mobile army. Ling Bling Muta with a couple of roaches chucked in just to deal with the Hellions, and this is a nice composition. It's something the QXE should be reading into. It was really popular. I remember back so clearly the days in Wings of Liberty where Ling Bling Muta was the counteraction to anything that a Terran threw at you, and it was really pretty good, and that is just getting recreated now. The Widow Mine does detonate on a single Zergling, which unfortunately doesn't get the scouting information. 5th and 6th gas coming down, all 6 gas up and running for REcco now, who's getting up that Spore and Spine at each base just to make sure that he's a bit safe. The Infestation Pit coming down, may not actually get anything from that. He may not even bother with the infestors, and instead may just use it for the hive in order to get down some ultras, because ultras really complement this style, because you've already got the 2-2 upgrades coming out, and as a result of that, you'll have 3-3 nice and quickly up. The ultras are going to really benefit from that, and in Heart of the Swarm, ultras are even stronger because they deal full damage to everything rather than just to light units. So, as you can see, this is great news for REcco. He's getting everything together. We see the roach speed upgrade coming down, and the infestation pit just finishing up, so I'll keep an eye to see if pathogen glands will get started or enduring locust, but I somehow doubt it. Swarm host would actually be quite interesting, I'm not going to lie, because there's only the Marines and Marauders and no tanks, so without the tanks there's no splash, no real day to quickly deal with them. But here we go, REcco does see that this Terran army is moving out and sees the Hellbats in there as well, which is going to be quite frustrating. The Widow Mine is going to get big detonation, gets quite a few Zerglings there. That is frustrating. It's always annoying when you see that, but it's all the positioning. It's a good spread on units here for QXE. REcco has got to engage this very carefully. He needs some good Baning connects if he's going to make it work. His Mutaflock is only a 4, going to be a 9 after these next 5 pop out, but it's just, where is this push going? Is it going to go to the third or the 4th? That is what REcco has to try and and work out. A scan going down, sees the Madals, sees a small number of roaches there, feels like he can take it, but does he know that there's a good number of units ready to trap him in there? The answer apparently is yes. He moves back. Now in comes streaming all of those Zerglings, all of those Banelings, some good detonations going off there. A lot of units getting taken out. REcco absolutely crushing this MMM force and comes out the victor very, very easily. The counter aggression is going to be absolutely huge. The Madals are chasing this down. The Widow Mine does get a hit off, but the Overseers are putting an end to that. And well, up come all of these units. The Banelings and the Zerglings, the Roaches, the Madals are going to be able to clean this out. The Medevacs are going to be providing a lot of healing to those Hellbats, but the Hellbats can't shoot up. The two Marines desperately trying to get healed, but too many Mutas there at the moment. A missile turret at the middle line. The Hive is started for REcco, and he didn't get anything out of this infestation pit, so that is all good news to make. And of course, without anything to shoot up, these poor Marauders and Hellbats, they are just being picked off. They're wandering around just like, gosh, I hate this. The Zerglings even coming around and getting on the action. But that means that at least that infantry force can put up a fight. Drilling Claws coming down, so QXE hopefully going to be focusing on getting more mines out. And all in all, this is now still looking fairly level, but REcco definitely ahead. He's lost less, and his income is equal. Slightly behind due to mules, but generally speaking, he's fine. His tech's looking great. Hive has just finished up. I'm waiting to see when the Greatest Spire gets started. Okay, I'll admit it. I was thinking it was going to be Ultras. I'm going to remind you of that fact, because I'm surprised by the Greater Spire. It makes sense, because Broodlords are good still. They always have been and always will be. But Ultras, they are just a good composition, but especially when you've knocked out your opponent's force and there's only 4 Marauders left out, and you know there's no tanks, Ultras would be absolutely devastating. So I'm surprised that REcco isn't doing that. A drop is trying to come down the Spine Crawler, buying a little bit of time for these Lings and Blings to get back. A pickup going to try and go down for the Medevac, but it does get taken out by the Spore Crawler, so unfortunately will not be escaping quite yet. The Muta count really pretty low, only 7 out, but that's not a big commitment. It's just leaving some free supply. REcco at 180, his 4th base happily up and running. Needs to start looking to take his 5th though, especially when this burrowed Zergling spots the command center floating over. REcco's going to be like, yeah, I need my 5th base. These 2 Marines checking around for any hidden expansions or things that could be going down there. Now, a scan is going off. Where is that scan? It is just to pick off the burrowed Zergling. And that means the QXE, he's pretty actually unaware of what's going on. He doesn't even know Hive started, doesn't know about the infestation pit, definitely doesn't know about the Greater Spire that's just completing now. And that is irritating, because he's got no Vikings. And with no Vikings, he's got no way to deal with the Broodlords, and with no way to deal with the Broodlords, he may well die. That is for sure. But REcco, he's taking up his 5th base now, so he's out expanding his opponent. We're definitely in the later macro stages. It all comes down to army positioning now. And the trouble for REcco is the Broodlords are very immobile. They're so slow. They are literally like a little turtle or something that wanders or flies through the sky ever so slowly, but boy, when it gets there, does it hit hard. Some Hellbats getting taken out here for free, because you might as well if they're just stumbling around without any Marine support. The Broodlords coming in nicely. The Starport's still just producing Medevacs at the moment. There are 2 additional ones, but no add-ons for them yet. If 2 reactors get chucked down, then yes, a lot of Vikings can come out at a time and will allow the Broodlords to get taken down. But now the Broodlords are out, just want to avoid revealing them. The drop coming in, gonna deny this 5th base. That is going to be very, very annoying. REcco trying to get up there with the Mutalist. He may just be able to defend it, but no, forced to cancel. Doesn't want to take the risk, and that in itself is just like, oh, I know you've got 4 bases, and I'm on 4 bases. The drop, meanwhile, going down at the natural, but that's getting cleaned up a lot quicker. So multi-pronged harassment trying to come down here by QXE. He's pushing forward with these units as well. That's going to trap a lot of these Zerglings out of position. The Mutas will be safe, but this 4th base suddenly looking to be in a bit of problems. The Spine Crawler is going to get melted down. This hatchery in a big amount of trouble, but as we can see, units coming in from behind, a lot of Banelings there. Are the detonations going to be good? Well, the Hellbats tank up a lot of that damage, but in come the Roaches, in come the Speedlings, and with this and the Mutas, which have unfortunately been killed, it looks like this force will get cleaned up. The hatchery not getting focused yet, instead the Hellbat focusing down on as many drones as they can. The hatchery still up though. The Marauders, if they just get a couple of shells off, will pick it off, and that would be a big problem. The Broodlords helping massively, and I cannot believe that hatchery hasn't died until now. So, pulling back, a lot lost, but taking out, forcing a cancel at this hatchery and knocking out the 4th while being on 4 bases yourself as a Terran player. That is fairly good, and fairly good is actually an understatement for how fantastic that is for QXE. Both players on pretty much equal supply. The worker count very actually favouring QXC by 12, and additionally an additional mining base as well for QXC. That is massive. That is really beneficial for him. The Corruptors do manage to take out the medevac there, pulling back the Broodlord count, looking quite nice. Got +2 flyer carapace on its way down, some Vikings in production, adding to the 2 that's already out, 2 Ravens there as well. Seeker missile going to be effective. The Corvid reactor coming down as well. Marauders just checking around, being like, hey, you taking any hidden bases? Nope, that's all cool. That's good. That's definitely what I want to see. Some Zerglings checking around as well. Good map awareness from both players, just keeping an eye on where when their opponents are expanding. So that's very nice to see. Some Widow Mines killing a few Zerglings. In terms of the loss tab, oh my goodness, that's equal. Like 13, like literally 50 resources between them in terms of what they've lost. But this drop play, these Marauders are being aggressive yet again. They want to force a cancel on this 4th, and if they were able to do so, that would be good, but they're not going to get that just due to how many speedlings are coming in now. The upgrades are sitting with Adrenal Glands and 3/3 Duns, so let's face it, those Zerglings are very powerful at the moment. The Broodlords haven't been really used that effectively. You could position them over this sort of area and just start chipping away with some Corruptor support. That would just mean that they're not going to be able to take it out by Vikings, and there's nothing that QXC will be able to do about it, but you do need that support there. And still, there's no Infestors either, which is such a staple from Wings of Liberty that you'd be used to seeing Broodlord Infestor. But lots of Zerg players just don't like the new fungal growth on a projectile, don't feel it's strong enough, and generally just not really bothering. They feel more comfortable with other compositions. So, here we go. We've got movement forward. Some Corruptors are going to try and take out some medevacs. Unfortunately, they will both go down. The Banelings, though, are pulling back at the moment. Quite a few Ravens, quite a few Vikings, and the Broodlords, they've just got to be careful. A few big Seeker missiles could be painful, but the Corruptor count better. We see a few Widow Mine shots going off there as well. The Widow Mines, of course, going to be pretty scary because you don't quite know where they are. Scan going down now, and all the Widow Mines. The Widow Mines on the Overseers, but luckily, no, they are not going to be able to kill off those Overseers quite yet. The infantry trying to move forward. A couple of Seeker missiles trying to go down. 2 will connect and get 2 damage. 2 were cancelled, but streaming in with the Banelings, with the Zerglings, the Corruptors and Broodlords pushing forward. The Vikings trying to pull back. The medevacs all going down. The Corruptors seem to be outnumbering the Vikings just from a quick glance, and as such, this will get cleaned up yet again. QXC unable to catch a break, even though his economy's good, his engagements are not. And while the Vikings are just happily sitting next to the Broodlords all survive, and the push starts moving forward. The slow, steady move forward of these big, bad, sieging Broodlords. The Corruptor count still looking very comfortable, up at 8 compared to just the 2 Vikings on the field. That has got to hurt, but Recco, he's got to start pushing, and he's got to start being aggressive. He's got to start denying these expansions. Otherwise, QXC's economy, which is still better than his, is going to hurt so much. QXC does have a 5th base ready to go down. Unfortunately, there is a burrowed Zergling under there, so no scan fixing that yet. A drop just got cleaned up at the natural base, and no, actually got away. It's fine, but a Corruptor is going to try and kill this off now, so may as well scan, may as well try and pick up a few creep tumors while I'm here. Meanwhile, the Broodlords, look at the Broodlords come forward. The Broodlord Corruptor force coming ever closer to the 3rd. What are they going to be able to do? A Widow Mine is being frustrating, as Widow Mines always are. They're like reusable. They are basically just reusable burrow banelings that are incredibly frustrating for everyone who's ever encountered them. Supply depots getting taken down. Vikings trying to come in. Ravens trying to get some Seeker missiles off. Some good shots are going to be going off with those Seeker missiles. Broodlord's taking a lot of damage. The Corruptor count knocked down quite substantially, but there are more from the flank. Just got to make sure that those Broodlords do stay up. That's the most important thing for Recco at the moment. 20 more Speedlings are in production. This push into 3rd going nicely. The Banelings do get shut down by those Widow Mines before they're able to connect, so a lot of the infantry still standing, but the Broodlords are starting to clean up a lot of this action. And as we can see, the Overseers just running in front, making sure that any Widow Mines are taken out. But JonnyREcco now with a good 40 supply lead is looking to be in a great spot. He's cleaning out this 3rd base as quickly as he can. He's got more reinforcements streaming through. There are still those 8 Broodlords raining down the pain. Their upgrades are 1-2, so they're looking fairly nice. That's compared to the air upgrades, which are only just +1 attack for the Vikings. That's a bit of a problem. The 3rd base evacuated back, but now the 4th and 5th base potentially going to be running into some problems. The 5th base still hasn't landed though, so that is quite annoying for QXC. Still on 4 bases, but JonnyREcco, he has got his 5th base up and running yet again. He needs to transfer the drones. Some Seeker missiles are going to be going off. Needs to move those Corruptors apart, but does not manage to do so, so a lot go down there. That is really annoying. QXC using those Ravens so well. Great play by him at the moment, holding off this push. JonnyREcco down to just 154 supply to 146 of QXC. Looking around the map, it is all about these patrolling Zerglings and Banelings, just making sure that REcco is safe from drops, because that could be the big problem. The Ultralisk Cavern now coming in the tech switch, ready to try and punish the lack of Marauders in QXE's force, and that could be what JonnyREcco needs to do to win this game. QXE, though, he is taking the supply lead. His economy still looking fairly nice, even after losing that third, and with that, he should be this game is still relatively equal. 3-3 upgrades on both sides. This is just really, really close. This bottom base is gonna not be able to ever land, the bottom left base. That's due to the burrowed Zergling and now the Marines getting taken out. But we've got a small movement here from QXE. He's moving the infantry out, trying to cut off the retreat. May get a single Roach. Unfortunately not, the Roach does survive. It is a brave little Roach, that means scans can come down. These burrowed Zerglings will get taken out at some point, no doubt. And that just means the QXE will be able to take his 5th. So, let's recap on what we've seen so far. We've seen QXE with a multi-pronged drop, and we've seen QXE trying to push forward, losing the big engagements though. He's been doing great with drops, but terrible with the big pushes. JonnyREcco, he did push back there. The Broodlords were able to do quite a bit, managing to knock out this third base, but the problem he's got is that the 5th is now back up for QXE. And all in all, he's trying to tech switch into those Ultras, which is what you want to do when your opponent doesn't have many Marauders and isn't producing many Marauders, because that means that hopefully they'll overcommit to trying to deal with the Broodlords, and the Ultras will just be able to shut it all down. But without the use of the final growth, due to there being no infestors on the field, REcco does have the problem that he can't lock down this army. Stimming back and some good splitting mean the Ultras will be limited in how effective they can be unless they back that army to a corner. So many Vikings here, good amounts of damage being done. The Corruptor's forced back due to Seeker missiles. The first Ultra just running forward and being like, hey, no, do not want to take that engagement, and runs away. And a good scan from QXE just saying, hey, what's there? What do I have to worry about? Where are the Broodlords? Are there any more Ultras? And that was a very wise move by him indeed. Now we see the REcco taking this top left base. He wants to be going up to those 6 bases pretty quick. He needs to start looking to take other bases as quickly as he can in order to stay ahead of QXE and the Terran army and Terran might that is being assembled. Both players nearly maxed out, upgrades exactly equal and maxed out. So it all comes down to army positioning now. The engagements are what really matter. So, who gets the better spread? Currently, it looks like QXE is going to be coming in from the side. If he can take these Broodlords quickly, he will be in a great spot. 9 Corruptors up against 10 Vikings. The Ravens and the 5 Ravens, so a lot of Seeker missiles, are going to be able to do some good splash damage if they are able to connect. But here comes the Vikings catching a few Broodlords off guard. Where is the support? The Corruptors now trying to come in, but the Broodlords already getting taken down. The Seeker missiles targeting the Corruptors, and in they come. Now, luckily, the Corruptors pulling back just in time, but they do connect, so a couple more of those Corruptors do go down. The Broodlords desperately trying to rain down the Broodling pain from the skies, but the Vikings putting an end to that, clearing out the Corruptors, and now clearing out the Broodlords. Ultra is trying to come from both sides, but it looks like QXE is going to be able to hold, is going to be able to push through, and now with no defensive forces, with all the Broodlords having been taken out, there's just 1 Roach, 1 Baning and 2 Ultras and a couple of Zerglings in order to try and defend this. So many drones gonna go down here. They're trying to retreat as best they can up towards this other top base, but the hatchery goes down. The drones moving up there does give away that there is a base there, but Ultras coming from behind. Is there enough? That is the question. Well, some Banelings get picked off before they're able to engage. A good pickup with all those medevacs mean that the infantry does survive for the moment. More reinforcement Vikings coming over, but no Broodlords there to engage. We do see the QXE is taking some additional command centers, so this game getting very close, but JonnyREcco knows he's not going to be able to come back now. He knows that with that base spotted, losing his 5th, he will not have the economy. He does not have the minerals in order to resupply to deal with the forces QXE had. So that was an absolutely stunning game. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I know I sounded rather hyperactive all throughout like the last 10 minutes. But yes, if you did enjoy, ladies and gentlemen, like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe, and I hope to see each and every one of you tomorrow for yet another brand new Heart of the Swarm cast. I'm Madals, and bye for now.